Good evening, I'm Giuseppe Basile. I'm the analyst and trading mentor. You can find at the website www.fibstalker.com. I also post regularly on Twitter using the Fibstalker nickname. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April the 15th, 2014, and it's 22 midnight in Toronto. And this is the third video of my series of 3 videos tonight, in which I'm going to review for you, do a daily update of 4 majors, forex majors I follow: the pound versus the US dollar, the Australian dollar versus the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, and the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. So let's start from the pound versus the US dollar. As you will remember, I was looking for a continuation lower here, right? Just right, like for the euro, and we had this nice measure move short here, which started working, provided give us a free risk trade here. But then the sequence of measure move on the 15 minutes of these 4 red bars failed, and we saw price moving higher. The measure move that was actually in play and program trading has been pushing price higher, and we saw price moving into the first target 167.34, and second target to the pip was this 168.20 here. After that, the next measure move failed and price came to trade, as we can see here. The level 167.34 was placed on the downside, and price it came to test the old halfway back. Now it did not really test it. There was some urgency to buy here, and I'm going to show you why there was this urgency here, because price actually on the 4-hour chart, which is the chart that you see on the screen, traced and traded this nice 167.86 level of resistance, breaking price into first and eventually second target here. And when we traced the next measure move, we had however you want to trace it, we had a failure of the sequence, but this was a busted setup. It failed and then brought price anyway into first and second target. Once program trading on the 4-hour chart saw that the second price was actually hit, they started buying this market, and actually this market moved higher, and as you can see, is now trading the old halfway back short. So we are not still out of the woods here. This market has still the potential to properly test and trade this 166.42. That didn't happen. However, if we move above 165.75, we could just continue higher or start forming a lateral move here on top of 166.42. So we have to wait and see what happens in this market. Continuation higher is reasonable and possible here. Of course, if we break 165.99 here on the downside, we go back to the previous scenario of a short in the pound. In the Australian dollar, in my opinion, there was a very important development today. The sequence of measure move that saw pushing price this market, and I'm going to show you the sequence from lows to highs here, and then there was a trace that initially was not respected, but at some point we started seeing it working here when the 090.11 worked, bringing price into first and second target. Now we had the opportunity to trade to actually trade this level and have a clear entry with a stop. As you can see, the stop 091.93 was never pierced on the downside, and price went into first target 093.35 and second target 093.97. After that, I've been looking at this trace, and there was also my level and indication to actually to confirm short here. And initially this area of support worked. Price did not dive below 093.57 here, but then today we saw it break, and there was this was an entry for this market with a stop above highs. Of course, you have always to mind the risk here. The risk has to be considered before potential targets, but I now believe that this market is going to move all the way into 090.60, and the reason for that is that the sequence of measured move higher of program trading here, controlling this market higher, has failed. And when that happens, sequence of measured move in the opposite direction starts. Now, once we see the swing low in this market, there will be potentially the possibility to trade short. So if you didn't enter to at the level that I provided in the last few days, there might be still a possibility to enter here, depending where the swing low on the daily time frame will print here. And after that, once we have that low, we trace from low to highs, and we'll try to enter the all the way halfway back here on 93. For example, in this example, 93.63 with a stop above highs. Still don't know the lows, so this level is not yet identified. So it's very important to keep that in mind. But definitely, it is my belief now that we started the move lower into 090.60 at least. And then there we're going to see how this market is going to behave. Consider that this market is now moving, is doing the same, might be doing the same thing that the dollar did now, almost 1 month ago, started 1 month ago. It's possible that the Australian dollar is starting this move lower. That is just an hypothesis, of course, but the sequence of measure move higher has failed, so it's possible to see now this market move into 090.60. Moving to the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Those who follow me know that with more than 2 weeks in advance, we were able to identify a value level of support for this market after it tested larger weekly resistance here. You can review my free weekly newsletter in order to understand why there is a resistance at this level in the 112 area. But as you can see, the 109.17 acted as a good support here the first time, pushing price higher again into that level of resistance 112, and then the price came down again into this area of support. And the 108.45 has been key now since basically the end of January here. We were able to track this price and they're able to to identify this level, and this level was not breached in the last move lower. We rather saw a nice sequence of measured move here from lows to lows. 110.76 acted as a resistance, begin pressing to first and second target 109.03, and after that we were able to test support, and that's exactly the application of the flip stalking technique, which allows you to test whether a sequence of measured move has failed. And in this case, 109, when 109.46 was placed on the upside, that was also a potential entry for this market with a stop below lows. This market, as usual, has the possibility to retrace now into the all the way halfway back 110.67, and if he comes back and trades again the all the way lows to highs, this is an opportunity to enter here. This would be 109.38 with a stop below lows here, and bringing price into that 106.73. And we will need to see what happens at that level, whether we keep moving higher and whether this is still a consolidation on top of support, or eventually the weekly resistance will win here. We still don't know that, but congratulations if you followed the sequence of measure move here and the failure. There's something very similar to what happened in the past in New Zealand dollar, and I'm going to show you what I mean here. The New Zealand dollar was on top of, first of all, I want to show that first of all I would like to show the target that has been hit by this market, and in order to do that I need to trace the sequence, the measure move here that we traded basically since the beginning of the year. I was able to identify this area of support back in November, once we saw this market moving lower, and this 08111 acted as a support once, twice, and 3 times. And specifically here I want to show you a situation similar to what that happened, just happened in the Canadian dollar. Here we had a sequence of measure move lower here. From highs to lows, we saw participation starting at 08322, the start of this short area. Price was pushed below into first target 08163 and second target 08080. But after that, the next measure move in the sequence initially worked, as you can see here, 08136 acted as a stop here, and actually acted as an initial resistance here. Initially pushed price lower, but eventually this price went above 81.53, a stop below lows, and off you go. This was a good opportunity long, and actually which brought price right into that target, right into that target 087.47 here, and that's why we are seeing a retrace here in this market. So where can this retrace bring this market? Well, again, I can bring this market into the next measure move in the sequence here, and the confirmation for that will come once and if we break the 08510, and when that happens, maybe we will have another opportunity, or the opportunity to trade this market short. So if we break 08510, that's not a short at that point. The move lower is completed, and we need to see bounce higher, and then will be the place where we're going to short this market. So it's very important to keep in mind the sequence of measure move higher, otherwise we cannot make sense of this market and why it's moving like that. But follow the fib stalker and the fib stalking technique, and I'll show you how you can actually take advantage of what program trading is doing in modern markets. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a very good evening, and have a safe trading day tomorrow. Thank you for sticking around and watching this video. If you want to know more about the fib stalking technique, I'm going to present a webinar April the 22nd, 12 p.m. GMT time, and the webinar is going to be about the fib stalking technique and how to use that to procedurally test level of support and resistance, which is something that I do every day in my analysis here. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a very good evening, and bye now.